there's a simple way, then there's a really freaking delicious way. And that's how we're gonna make our guacamole today. Oh yeah, and I'm London, Brazil, and you are watching Evolving Table, where we make healthier spins on classic recipes. And today we're taking Chipotle's guacamole and not only making it a bit healthier, but also with so much more flavor. So let's jump straight in and get to guacamole making. Guacamole in and of itself is a pretty basic recipe, made up of mashed avocados, lime juice, and often some cilantro and onions. But a really good guac has a few other special ingredients that are really going to take it over the top, and that's what I'm going to be showing you here today. First, you're going to want to grab 4 large and ripe avocados, or about 6 to 7 small ones. The key word here being ripe. The one thing that will absolutely ruin a guacamole is to use avocados that haven't fully ripened yet. Not only will the texture be firm instead of creamy, but you won't get as much of that yummy avocado flavor. When we typically make guac in our house, it's because we have a few avocados that are on the verge of becoming too ripe. But if you're planning for an event, you'll want to make sure that you grab your avocados at least a few days before making. That way they can naturally ripen on the counter. When they get to that perfect spot, you can pop them in the fridge for a few days to slow down the ripening process. But wait, what exactly is that perfect spot? When you grab your avocado and apply firm but gentle pressure, you want it to give just a little bit. Another good way to tell is to peel back the stem. If it's a beautiful green color underneath and the stem peels easily, it's ripe and ready to eat. Using a chef's knife, slice the avocado in half lengthwise until you feel the knife hit the pit. Turn the avocado on its side and spin it while continuing to cut it in half with the knife. Be very careful as you're doing this. Try to keep the knife in the same position as you go around the avocado. Once the avocado is completely cut down the center, twist the 2 halves to separate them. Hit the pit with your knife, making sure there are no fingers or hands hanging out on the cutting board as you do this, and then rotate it until it loosens up. Remove the pit by pressing on it from the non-sharp side of the knife with your thumb and pointer finger. Cut the halves into quarters, and then remove the peel. Repeat this process with the other 3 avocados. Add the avocado quarters to a large bowl, along with 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lime juice. Begin mashing the avocados with either a large fork, or my favorite way, with a potato masher. If the avocados are pretty ripe, this shouldn't be too hard to do. For a chunky texture, stop when you still have some bigger pieces of avocado left. For a super smooth texture, keep going until no chunks remain. Now moving on to all of those yummy ingredients that are gonna give this guac so much flavor. You'll first want to add half a teaspoon of ground cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and of course some salt and black pepper. I'm adding in 3/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. You can always add in more at the end if you feel it needs it. You'll also want to consider the type of chips you'll be serving your guac with. If they're pretty salty, you may want to scale back on the amount of salt you add. Mix the spices into the guacamole until they're well incorporated. You can stop right here and you'll already have a guacamole that will outshine Chipotle's. But I'm going to take it up just one more notch by adding in some cilantro, onion, and tomatoes. My husband is such a purist and believes that guacamole should only be made with avocados, lime juice, and salt. But guys, I'm telling you that when you add all of these extra ingredients in, everybody's gonna be begging you for the recipe. Finally, chop either a sweet, white, or red onion until you have 1/4 of a cup. The sweet will have a more subtle flavor, while the white and red will give it a more pungent kick. Finally, dice either vine ripened, cherry, or Campari tomatoes until you have half of a cup. And finally dice cilantro until you have 1/4 of a cup. It's best to do this on a dry cutting board so the cilantro doesn't get too soggy. And make sure to measure this after you chop it to get the most accurate amount. One ingredient I didn't include today, but you totally could, is a spicy pepper such as a jalapeno or a serrano. If you know me, you know that I don't like things too spicy, so I'm leaving these guys out and keeping my guacamole on the milder side. Add the onion, tomatoes, and cilantro to the bowl, and gently mix them until just combined. If you're not serving this immediately, smooth out the guacamole and place a piece of plastic wrap directly on the top. You don't want any air to be able to contact the surface since it will make the guac turn brown. Store it in the refrigerator for up to a few hours. Much longer than this and the guacamole will eventually begin to brown. Or serve it immediately with some tortilla chips. You can even make your own if you'd like. So good, so creamy, so full of flavor. I think I got a little cilantro there still. Am I good? Okay, I think I'm good now. But now for the real question. Is this recipe actually better than Chipotle's? I can't wait to hear what you think. And if you want to make this a full-on fiesta, I've got you covered. Make sure you check out these other Mexican-inspired recipes. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'll see you in the next one.